Hey! I feel like been one of the busiest weeks of my life. I actually have more than one job. The other jobs don't pay that well either. I need a real vacation. Specifically regarding education, let me make a point to you. And of course, you and I, and basically everybody else, was tortured this way. In school, and even if you went to a fancy private school, you still weren't taught how to think. Hey Siri, what's the capital of Nebraska?
Lincoln is the capital of Nebraska.
You know, interestingly enough, and by the way, I never use Siri. There's a neat little thing called a search engine. Remember, you should remember, I certainly succinctly remember the countless years that you and I was tortured by idiot teachers, right? That wanted us to go home and memorize crap. Go home and memorize chapters 1 through 3. We're going to have a multiple guess test on... The point being, in this modern age, of course we didn't have Siri back when I was in junior high and high school, but the kids today do. And they're still being taught the exact same crap, the exact same methodology as I was taught and you were taught. Not only that, but also in college. The point being, pissing your life away on irrelevant factoids that you could get by asking your phone or entering it into a Bing or a Google search engine is a complete waste of time. There's a saying from the Bible, and I never quote from the Bible, not for any particular reason, that you give a man fish, you feed him for a day, and you teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Well, nobody's taught how to think. No one knows how to engage the dialectic. A secret that's actually been lost for countless thousands of years now is abduction, specifically not abducting like abducting a person, but specifically meant retroduction. It is apophaticism. It is not only used for metaphysical inquiry on ontological non-objective subjects, it is also the premise for arriving at things that are not directly discernible, like induction or deduction. Well, how do you find a needle in a haystack? Well, you search for it here, or, I heard it fell over. No, you set a match to the whole thing, and it all catches on fire, and poof, there's the metal needle. It is a very quick method of assimilating out the nature of things that are not directly objectively knowable, but also, too, they're also for knowing and discerning things with a limited amount of information, because you can then thence set the parameters or parameter of a particular subject or object and deduce its character and work out the answer to something with extremely little information, like extremely little. I know you're going to say Sherlock Holmes, but all these kids, you and I, we wasted our lives, and that's all school is young adult daycare, and also to college. Obviously, you don't want anybody operating on you that's not an actual doctor, but other than becoming a doctor or a lawyer or a engineer for building bridges, college is a complete and total waste of time. My college, and this is a university town, the same as the rest across America, are investing all that money in a bunch of brand new, like downtown, well, the UK campus, there's so many buildings that are going up, just brand new, really fancy. Where do you think all that money is coming from? It's coming from tuitions, rather than like finding or like spending the money on the library. And I know a lot of stuff is digital these days, right? Of course it is. I've got more digital files than most of you combined. Spending stuff on important stuff. They're just building new buildings. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's really a money laundering scheme. That's all colleges today are. They're spitting out a bunch of highly educated morons that think they know something. Well, I got a degree. Good, you don't know jack shit. Try to get a real job. It's obviously legit to go there to become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a few other things, a nurse, going to nursing school, another something incredibly valid. This is the reason why plumbers and electricians are so incredibly well paid. Sometimes they're gritty, dirty jobs, but you've actually got money and job security. But I'm not talking about money now. However, money is important to stay alive, but it is so incredibly shameful the disgusting, vile lack of education that that the kids are getting. And I knew immediately, very, very early on. That's when I hung out in the library during lunch hour. I even told the principal. I think I'm the only person in school, like everybody was afraid of the principal. I actually read the principal the right act. It's like, listen, he knows I didn't cause any trouble and I was not someone he had to worry about. I said, listen, I'm not going to go to lunch and I'm also not going to go to this class. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hang out in the library and I'm going to study and I'll hit all my normal classes. And he's like, it's okay. So he told the librarian, and that's what I did. Self-taught. My teachers were fools. Once in a while I would tell them, like, you don't know what you're talking about. That made them really mad. But I knew early on that I was not learning anything. But learning things is not being fed useless factoids that you can get off of a Google search. Pissing your life. And that's all kids today are taught, is that useless garbage. It's like, why do you want me to go home and study a bunch of useless factoids that I could ask my phone about? Hey, Siri. She's always listening, right? I never use Siri, like I said. But you have to be able to learn how to think, be able to synthesize, problem solve. Problem solving, spontaneous synthesis of logical analysis of what a situation is, and being able to engage the dialectic, and using retroductive analysis, which is an ancient, and there's not a single book on retroduction, by the way. I will be writing that book, but I'm working on an article now on the fourth. I'm so busy, I feel like I'm dying most of the time. I mean, I literally do. It's I've been up to like 5 o'clock in the morning the past week, every night. But specifically regarding education, I would actually take a job at like a very elitist school. Of course, who's going to hire a teacher that's covered in tattoos, right? I wouldn't, like, who's this teacher? This guy's covered in tattoos. Tattoos, of course, are not really a big stigma these days, but still, elitist schools don't hire teachers. Hire teachers that look like me. I would take a job at a super elitist school, and I don't know what the category would be called. It would be called thought synthesis and retroductive analysis for benefiting you for your entire lifetime. Wow, that sounds like an important class. Sounds boring. Oh no, it's actually something that's going to help you in everything that you do, in every aspect of your life, every damn day. That is what we call useful, not you learning stupid factoids. And it blows my mind that is still all these, and it's just daycare. But life is short and shitty, and pissing your life away learning facts that you could get off your damn Android or Apple iPhone is a waste of time. People's lives are being ruined. Go home, and their kids are stressing out, trying to memorize garbage. There's certain arenas where memorization is important. Like when you become a doctor, there's all these little muscles, and there's a lot of stuff that necessitatively you must memorize. But memorization, of course, and this is why doctors kill so many people. This is why doctors are the second leading cause of death, because they went to medical school and they learned a lot of stuff, but they don't know how to synthesize it. It is like, imagine like a basement at the NSA or the CIA where just like every top secret bit of information is, but you don't know where it is. You can't synthesize it to draw any conclusions. You could look through all the files about UFOs or Kennedy assassination, whatever. Just all these top secret things. But if you can't synthesize something, you can't do anything with it. A lot of useless factual information, just like doctors that go to medical school. They spend a lot of time popping caffeine pills, memorizing garbage, but they can't use it to implement the assistance factors necessary to be a true doctor, which is first to do no harm and to help the patient recover. Because that's all doctors do, and I'm not ragging on doctors so much now, however they deserve to be ragged upon, instead of actually changing a person's life. So we're going to give you a pill. You got this problem, we're going to give you a pill for that. It's like, no, you're supposed to actually help the person get healthy. And this is a serious issue of memorization. One of the actual primary cause of why doctors are the second leading cause of death is the fact that they memorize and they don't learn to synthesize and analyze things through Platonic retroductive analysis. You know, there are a lot of things that are not immediately discernible about a patient, but you can immediately abduce the nature of the problem, even with insufficient information. That's not induction or deduction, it's retroduction. But this sort of memorization and garbage that you were taught in high school and college and junior high and elementary, it's ridiculous. You know, think of the countless years you spent on trigonometry and calculus, and think of 10,000 other, I mean, the important stuff that because idiots right now are repeating history, but the only reason that they're repeating history is because they never learned history. Instead of spending so much time on trigonometry and calculus, you should have been learning, you know, the nature of things, learning about history. I mean, Americans, and I'm not just picking on Americans, I mean, the education system in Australia and Europe is no different. They're memorizing garbage and they're regurgitating it for tests. So don't dump on America as if it's solely the problem of America. It's a global problem. And this is the reason, fundamentally at the foundation, the issue is that people don't know how to teach somebody. When you teach somebody, you're talking about inputting information, and that's fallacious. That is not teaching somebody. Teaching somebody is helping somebody to grow, not constructing jarhead robots that you open up their brain and you drop in a bunch of useless effing facts. That is not teaching. That is training. Yeah? Let's make a distinction with the difference. Training and teaching. Memorization, and none of these things. The most important thing is learning how to think. Multiple guess tests and memorization, none of this stuff is important. It's not important at all. Everybody on earth has a cell phone now, well, almost everybody. You can get useless factoids off your damn phone. Pissing your life away. Years and years and years that you spent and I spent learning this useless crap. Okay? And I knew that early on. The reason why I'm smart and wise is because I knew early on that the stuff I was being taught was BS. I spent my time in the library, you know, learning, self-taught on ancient Greek. I'm self-taught on ancient Pali. I did spend time in college learning Russian. I was a Russian major in the University of Kentucky. I spent quite a lot of time in Russia. Молодец. Русские крепкие народы. Настоящие крепкие народы. Anybody from any Russian would understand what I said there and appreciate it. But thought synthesis, being able to engage the dialectic and retroductive analysis and synthesis of information is of primary importance. It just absolutely is. There's no way around that, and regurgitating facts is not learning. It is training, kind of like teaching a parrot to, fetch a stick, or, a dog. That's not learning anything. That doesn't synthesize anything. All you're doing is filling people's heads with information they need to, be a robot in life. But that's not problem solving. It's not creativity. It's not invention. It's not an actual education. Like I said, I would actually take a job at like an ultra elitist school, and I would actually truly teach, truly learn somebody how to engage these things. And there's 100 little secrets. There's more than 100 on how to do that, but my life needs a little bit more calm in it. I would take a full-time teaching job, but the problem with teachers is that they require a degree in education, but it doesn't require that they have to have any damn sense. All these teachers with degrees in educations and college degrees that were necessary to get the teaching job only means they're regurgitating the same garbage that they were fed, and that you were fed and I was fed. But I knew very, very early on in my life that this stuff was BS. It's like, these people are morons. Yeah, we'd like to hire you as a teacher, but you need a degree in education. It's like, yeah, all those peoples with degrees in education, they're idiots. They're brainwashing your kids with useless crap that's not going to benefit them in actual life. They're turning into neurotic little schizoid lunatics on their phones and their iPads. They don't know how to think. I sound like one of those old guys you used to always make fun of. Like, it's a grumpy old guy. They don't know how to synthesize anything. They're not intelligent. They're not, sure, I went to college, I got a 4-year degree, of course I'm intelligent. No, you're a brainwashed idiot. You know, you spent a few years in college popping caffeine pills, filling your head with crap, most of which you're never going to use, ever. Yeah? And they gave you a degree, and in the meantime, they pickpocketed you of every cent you got. That's why all these colleges in the United States are on a building spree. I swear to God, if you got a college in your town, you know, like a major college, whatever state you're in, same as here, because this is a college town, University of Kentucky, just all this, taking all that money and they're expanding and building, so they got more places to rob people of their cash so they can make more It's a Ponzi scheme. It literally is. It's not about education. It's about money laundering. Yeah. Buy a bunch of these expensive books, pay us a ton of money, and after 4 years of regurgitating useless crap, we're going to give you a degree, and that's going to help you in the real world. And then people find out that not only are they in debt, but they don't know a damn thing. And that is an education. I should know I spent years in college also, which of course was a total waste, but my favorite time was actually hanging out in the library because I have a magic ability, by the way, and I almost mean this literally. It's almost magical. I can go through 100 books in no time. It's like I could flip through 3 pages. This guy's an idiot. This author's an idiot. Put it up like on the shelf. I'll go through a certain topic in the library. I can spool through 100 books very quickly. I mean, literally, I can. I really, because life is short, and some people will like check out. I was like, this book's no good. They'll like read 30 pages and say, this book's not very intelligent. I can do it in 5 seconds on a book. I kid you not. And I've done that so many tens of thousands of times in the university library, in my early school library. It was just like 3 or 4 pages. No, this is an idiot. Rarely it would be like, oh, this is pretty good, but it's not that great. Okay, 2 more pages, boom. 10 seconds max. On each book, 10 seconds max. Crap. This is why I've collected so many incredible books, specifically on metaphysics and monism. Excuse me, about to sneeze. Whew. Whew. About to someone's going to bless you. Sorry about that. Anyway, I hope you like these videos. If you do, you click the link below. That would be very greatly appreciated because I'm broke as hell. And even if you drop a buck, I greatly appreciate it. Or you can tell me to jump off a cliff, whatever makes you happy. Thank you very much. Luxi veritas uvidimся, as they say in Russia. And goodbye.